thank you guys for coming back to another episode of Cobra TV. Today we're going to take a look at some community responses about topics. We're going to answer a few questions that I see people asking and talk a little bit about expectations about No Man's Sky. As we get closer to the release, I see some pretty crazy ideas out there. And while it's awesome to dream and it's awesome to have a cool imagination, I think walking into this game, we got to keep ourselves level-headed because that's the kind of hype that can ruin the experience for us. So let's start into two questions that I keep seeing repeated by several people commenting on some of the videos. They're asking if you can look around in your ship, and the answer to that is yes. As you can see in the video right here, the character's looking hard right. So that right there is a little bit evidence. And during the IGN gameplay, Sean Murray was telling him to go to a planet or whatever, and Ryan kept using the wrong controls, and the character head was beginning to move around the cockpit slightly, but then he realized that that wasn't, how to turn the ship. But you could see a little bit of evidence there in that footage during the very first IGN first. So the answer does appear to be yes, you can look around in your cockpit. The other thing is pitch, yaw, things like that. In one of the very first trailers, I think it's the montage, I don't know which trailer it was one of the very first ones, and I'll put it on the screen here. You can see him doing a barrel roll on Solith Prime. And also, when you're in space, there's no orientation, so you would be able to fix your orientation to align yourself with the orientation of the target, whether you're trying to engage in combat or you're just trying to orient yourself with a particular object in space. So therefore you would have to essentially barrel roll to be able to fix your orientation. So yes, you can do barrel rolls in No Man's Sky. It's not the fixed flying like you see Sean Murray doing. If you notice anything about the way he plays the game, it's so smooth and so to the point. Now moving on to expectations for No Man's Sky, we have a lot of hype with this game, and that's something we can't ignore, that we personally as a fan base, we've got a lot of hype for this game. Hype meaning we're excited for it. We can't wait to get it. But then there's other things, like when I first learned about the game, I was in like multiplayer mode. That's all I thought about. That's all I thought about, meeting up with a friend or whatever, doing this. I would not buy No Man's Sky for that reason alone. Sean Murray is definitely saying that it's no, you're not going to. Although personally, myself, I believe, as difficult as it may sound, it could be possible. But if Sean Murray's saying no because it's too big, then maybe he's saying that for a reason. I don't know what to say to that, guys. I know that in the past he said yes, it is possible, but almost impossible. I mean, to run across another player in an accident is more rare than trying to run into somebody on purpose. And what I'd like to tell people is, don't buy the game for that. Because you could be let down. But at the same time, if I was to try to meet somebody in No Man's Sky, and we both met at a space station, and even though I couldn't see that person, and they couldn't see me, but we knew both of us were standing in that space station at the same time. It would be so cool to find a staircase, go up the stairs, and go look out a window at a planet, and both stand there at that window at the same exact time, and look down at that planet at the same time, and know that we did something, we achieved something that was next to impossible, and we were both in the same place at the same time. That to me is a journey, that to me is really cool, but at the same time, that's not the core of the game. It's not what Sean Murray and Halo Games have planned for us. It is something cool, and I hope somebody on YouTube definitely tries to do that. But I think people may be let down a little bit if they go into the game thinking only that. Another thing that people have to realize is something that I'm looking forward to the most in No Man's Sky is finding the barren planets, the dune planets, the Tatooine planets, or the Hoth planets, something barren. And I don't know what it is. I think it's just because of the movies I used to watch when I was a kid. But the barren planets definitely have a place for me in the game. I can't wait to see those. But in the trailers and the gameplay, Sean Murray likes to show off the shiny things, the cool things, the attractive things. And some of the solar systems, they have like a variety of what you could expect along your journey. But we all know that 90% of the planets in No Man's Sky are going to be barren. And the way he kind of described it is 1 out of 10 planets will be like a lush garden world with lots of life. And a lot of new people who come into the game, they see these trailers and gameplay and it's all these garden worlds and really cool places that have lots of life all over them. They don't realize that fact. A lot of people just found out about the game. They haven't been following it for a long time. And it was a while back when Sean Murray says that he's got certain things turned up. So that way when he picks a planet at random, he knows that there's going to be some life on that planet. So that way he could demo the game to the public. So it's a little bit of concern of mine, some of the new people not understanding that going into the game. I don't think the barren planets are going to be as barren as we think, though. I think there's going to be a lot of AI interaction with them. I think there's going to be a lot of mining because the resources are going to be rare on those planets. So I think that even though the planet is barren, I don't think that you're just going to land on a planet and see just dust swirling in the wind, and that's it. I think there's going to be something to offer on every single planet. I also had a bit of a hard time trying to think of a topic for the video here today. And, someone had commented, well, there's no new news, just wait. Cobra TV, even though I talk about the news, this is not about news. If you guys notice, when something happens, I wait a few days. And I see if anything else comes out, and then I make a video about, what we all seen after the fact. So Cobra TV is not a news channel. It's more like a fan channel of the game. It's a community channel. I like to show you guys fan art. I like to talk about your YouTube channels and what you plan on doing with No Man's Sky, and have you guys come on the show and talk. So it's not a news channel. It's a fan channel. And I posted on Facebook ideas for the topic today, and it was overwhelming. And I think some of it goes hand in hand with the expectations thing as well. So I'm not going to talk about every single topic, but I do want to go through some of these topics here. Morgan says, how about changes No Man's Sky could bring into gaming? No Man's Sky mechanics and innovations being integrated into other popular IPs, like, let's say, Elder Scrolls or Assassin's Creed. The player's no longer limited to the boundaries of a map. The only limitation left is the mechanics and the features available for us in massive, almost infinite worlds, universes, and going beyond just good guy versus bad guy concepts. No Man's Sky's procedural, almost infinite world, the hype, the art, and the super small team from Hello Games pulling this off versus the repetitive cash grab games from AAA companies. Great comment. And I think it will. I think once the game comes out and it's a success, I think a lot of people will follow suit. I mean, imagine, GTA 6 or whatever being the entire planet Earth, or how they always do like New York or whatever, but it's only has very small similarities. So they could possibly do Earth. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's going to have a big impact on the future of gaming. And if it is successful, which I believe it will be, what's that saying about some of these companies spending hundreds of millions of dollars with dev teams of 200 to 400 people? It might be a time to step back and say, wait a minute, we're doing something wrong here. And by him saying the cash grab games from AAA companies, a lot of people say that a lot of people were upset that No Man's Sky was charging a full price, AAA price, as what people are saying for No Man's Sky. And I beg to differ. $60 is not a AAA price for AAA games. AAA games are typically $110 because once you get it home, it tries to punk you out of another $50 for the season pass. So $60 I do not believe is a full price for AAA games. That's a different topic. Ashley here says, first question that I can think of, one of the possibilities it could be very difficult to meet other players apart from the fact that there are 18 quintillion planets, is that if someone sits in front of the monolith and the time passes, would that put the player in another time zone to the rest of the players in the universe? So if someone sat in front of 3 monoliths, they could be 3 days ahead of someone who has never sat in front of the monolith. I think, I see what you're saying, but I think a lot of people are just overthinking it. If somebody else was on that planet, I don't know. It could be just a single player thing. Time passes only if you're in single player, or, just another player's on a planet and all of a sudden it turns, nighttime or daytime, and you're like, hey, wait, what just happened? Sean Murray did say that there would be something put in place for you to know if somebody else was on that planet with you, because he would like, that to be a moment. And maybe that's it. Who knows? But I don't think that they're putting time, into the equation of No Man's Sky or anything like that. That'd be too much work. Who knows? I could be wrong. And then Ahmed says, oh my God, you won't believe this. Yeah, we're not going to put that in there. Jason says, how about a video on potential playstyles? I'm thinking that something like a pre-game strategy guide could be useful for people still unsure of what they'll be able to do in No Man's Sky. What's really weird is that if you go on Amazon, and one of my subscribers messaged me about a No Man's Sky strategy guide is on there for pre-order right now for November. Now, it's not official. It's unofficial. It's just an author who plans on playing the game and making some sort of strategy guide to sell people. I'm almost certain that eventually people are going to be selling all kinds of stuff. But something like that being released before the game would have to come from Hello Games, because none of us really technically know 100% of what we're going to be doing. Clinton. So what about possible land vehicles and what they could be? Now, we do know that they have concept art or reference material on their walls of land vehicles. Now, everything we see, the things that we see on their walls, we typically see in the game. So I'm going to say that it's probably going to be in the game. It's just not telling us about that. Ryan, have you talked about how much the look and everything of the game has changed since 2013, 2014 to now? It has. It has changed quite a bit, and every single time we get a new trailer or new gameplay or whatever we mention how much it's changed, from the UI to the ships. From every trailer we've seen typically changes from one to the next. I mean, it's improved quite a bit from the very first trailer we've ever seen. Steve says, funniest rumors and speculation that we've heard so far. It's not the funniest, but the funniest one I've heard recently is that YouTubers are going to be getting the game on May 17th, which is a lie. Actually, the funniest rumor I've ever heard was actually started by Sean Murray 2 years ago when he mentioned on Twitter that he was leaving Hello Games and putting his resume into Lego to go work for Lego. That was pretty funny. I remember people chatting about that thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to No Man's Sky? But that was so long ago. But I think that's the funniest one I've ever seen. Blake says, what about the most recently translated hands-on article stated that we have only seen 5% of the actual in-game mechanics and that there are complex skill trees? I'm dying to know if the complex skill trees are for the basic 3 we know so far, fighter, trader, and explorer, or if they will be more specific than that. Maybe we level up subclasses and pick and choose. I think that they're right. They're 5%. I don't know if that number's correct. But I think that there's so much that we haven't seen. Like speaking about the land vehicles, I think that they're going to be in the game. Don't know for sure, but we haven't seen those yet. There's so many things that we don't know about the Sentinels, where they come from, why the odd behavior that they displayed when they scanned the animal and just stared at Anthony, the different NPCs, the Gek, the fighters, the Korvax, the Korvax echoes. There's so much we don't know, and haven't seen yet. So I would say that I almost agree with that. I don't know about 5% though. Juan says you could talk or make a subcast about people role-playing the game, like uploading videos on YouTube with their gameplay and add voice acting or stuff like that. That's one of the things I cannot wait to see. I was going to try something like that, but I did a test run on a different game here privately. And that will never touch the internet, ever. I mean, that was just the most horrible thing I think I've ever done. And yeah, I'm not going to role play in public. I might do it privately. But I think, that's something really good. I've seen some people do some role play and some GTA videos, some Division videos. And I think No Man's Sky is a great platform for something like that. David says the effect this game will have on a lot of players, the inspirational aspect of exploring the endless and the implications of future projects using similar tech like highly detailed procedural cities full of procedural life and highly advanced AI interactions. The effect on players. I think that this game somehow has had an effect on the entire community. I've seen, so many things have happened while we were waiting for this game. One of our members in our community just had a friend pass away because of some fire out in California, I believe it is, and he had to evacuate his home, and that was crazy watching that transpire. And then we had Simon, who passed away, who was a big No Man's Sky fan. And you had people in the community that messaged me all the time saying that, there's just something about the game. There's something about the community that inspires people to be better people. And I think that it's affected people already. I just hope that when the game comes out, that it continues to do that, maybe even magnified it a bit. And yes, David, I do agree. I cannot wait to see future games. Jared says, I wish there were more ships. There are more ships. There's a ton more ships. James says, I would like to hear more talk about what Sean and his team at Hello Games can bring to No Man's Sky after the release, as he has said he would love to continue to work on the game if successful. Everyone's ideas and what they would like to see added. Personal favorite of mine would be a reason to make one planet home, a place to go back to, collecting creatures' DNA perhaps to clone on your home world. How sweet would that be? No Man's Sky Pokemon. I know from Minecraft that people, even given limitations, can be extremely creative, and we know that in No Man's Sky a world can be destroyed to a point, which leads me to believe that some will try to alter the terrain in very creative ways, especially if given an easy way back to their chosen homeworld. I think that after we play this game, and it's been out for a good while, and we've all played the core of the game, the thing that Sean Murray and the team at Hello Games wanted us to play, their dream, their idea. I think that in the future, this is a long time down the road, but I think in the future, with the modding community on PC and with Hello Games wanting to add more stuff, we could look for a lot of things being added to this game. I really do. I don't know what those are, but I could definitely count on a lot of stuff being added to this game. Tim says, being a lifelong student of astronomy, I'd like to hear a discussion where No Man's Sky has nailed it from a scientific standpoint and accurately depicts physics, planetary mechanics, etc., and where they departed from what we encounter in nature to accommodate gameplay. The best way to describe that, and I think that, that goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier about expectations. No Man's Sky, it's an arcadey game. It's meant to be fun. Pretty much when you're watching Star Wars and they have to warp to some other place, it doesn't take long. A couple scenes here and there, boom, you're there. You go through the atmosphere, you're crashing into a forest. You know what I mean? It's like, it happens pretty quickly. And I think that the parts of the physics that stop you from having fun, such as long atmospheric entrance, taking a while to get out of the planet, gravity being on the planet or lack of. I think those things have been taken out to make it feel like it's movie ready for you to act in it. Marcus says, dance on cam, please. I think you've seen some of my older videos, haven't you? And don't bother looking, people, because I took them off. I deleted them, all my dancing videos. So they're not there. They're not private either, so they've been deleted. And then George says, speculation on how collision works in the game, such as accidentally ramming the sentry bots, I think he means sentinels, the drones, with your ship as you fly around and then possibly getting a wanted star. Well, I'm pretty sure that if you fly into one on a planet, you'll crash into it. And I don't think they'll be too happy about that. Daniel says, scale of the universe. It's pretty big. But really none of us know exactly yet. But as for a topic, I think that would be a good topic for a subcast. Junior, planet destructibility, like how much you can destroy. That would be kind of a cool topic. Sydney, why the number 4 perfectly describes No Man's Sky. I don't know. I'm going to have to Google that. Lee says, I want to know how we used a multi-tool underwater. I don't know. If it could be used on those hot planets and it could be used in those sub-zero temperatures on Polari 5, I'm pretty sure it's waterproof too. Xander says, how about the fauna and flora? That'd be a good topic. That'd be a very good topic. Not much is known though. Nicholas Rosta, breaking news. Hello Games have announced that No Man's Sky 2 will have the title No Girls Sky. Oh boy. Jill says, when you're talking to the other aliens about religion and what happens when you land at one of the smaller asteroids. Peter says, will somebody dig through a whole planet? One side in, other side out? No, you cannot. You can't. There's a limit to how far you can dig. Can you land on an asteroid? Sean Murray a while back did say yes, you can. Can you walk out of the space station? That's a good topic. Can you land on an asteroid? Because if you could, you'd be able to land on some of those freighter ships. Another question from Peter. Can you walk out of the space station launch pad and jump into space? That's something that I asked a while back. I don't know. What would happen since there's no barriers in No Man's Sky? What would happen if you started to walk down that hallway? Maybe the Galactic Police would come out and tell you, no, you can't go that way. And then either you do it and die, or who knows. That's definitely something I'm going to try when I get the game. And then Tracy says, a video about player-created factions and their planned roles within No Man's Sky. I have like 5 or 6 faction leaders willing to participate. That's interesting because there are factions being created by people. And one of the cool things that what these things are, they're not clans, they're not multiplayer clans or anything like that. What they are is they're like a group of explorers exploring under the name of a faction. So if they discover a planet, they claim that planet with their faction name, so to speak, or put an abbreviation for their faction within the name of the planet. So that way, if you ever do get lucky enough to come across one of their planets, you can see that it was claimed by them. So that's pretty cool. And all the discoveries that they make, all the things that they find and things that they name, they're posting it on explorenms.photos in their board's faction. And then Tracy goes on to say, like, my faction is exploration based, and we will be sharing gameplay videos and screenshots to our Facebook, faction Facebook for discussions. So yeah, I'm really excited. They're like little NASA groups that I see popping up everywhere, and it's got me excited. Ben says, depth of ecological relationships. This is probably expecting too much from No Man's Sky, but as we know from our own planet, if you mess with a carefully balanced ecosystem, things start to go haywire. Perhaps the best example of this is with the... Yeah, see, this goes hand in hand to the expectations too. I don't think that No Man's Sky is going to be that detailed. It's meant to be a fun sci-fi game, and there are aesthetics around to make you feel like you were truly in a living universe. but I don't think they're going to go as far as you being able to mess with the ecosystem. But I could be wrong. One thing is for sure, though, we're going to find out next month. John says, what's a No Man's Sky? That's a good topic that's still untouched. Not sure what he means by that. What's a No Man's Sky? I think he's asking, why is the title No Man's Sky? Well, it kind of goes with no man's land. You know, no man has ever been there before. Man meaning human. So I think that No Man's Sky just means that, you know, it's the final frontier. Nobody's out there. It doesn't belong to anybody. Unclaimed and undiscovered by you, by us. It's been discovered before by the AI, but not by us. Daniel says the possible spiritual side to No Man's Sky. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Korvax spirits or the fact that I've seen jokes everywhere that No Man's Sky has become sort of like a religion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to touch that topic. It's just, Joey says, make a No Man's Sky Mythbusters thing. Try to, with the community, come up with stuff to try out. Give it your thought on what you think will happen. And then when the game comes out, test them. Are they plausible, confirmed, or busted? I think that when the game does come out, there's going to be all kinds of Mythbusters. Myths and urban legends. Oh, I wasn't recording, but I saw a space whale. When I went to go put it on the computer, the file corrupted, but I had footage of the space whale. I swear to God I did. And I think that there's going to be quite a bit of that. Some of it might be true, some of it might not be. Jamie Miller says, I'm gonna say space jerk, but you can see on the screen what it says: space jerk versus saint of space comparison. I guess maybe he's talking about being a space jerk or being someone who respects the like Sean Murray said, are you a Kirk or are you a Picard? Or are you an Anthony? I imagine we're going to, on YouTube, we're going to see very different roles being played. And I think we're going to be able to see both of those roles. Definitely. Yao? I don't know if I'm pronouncing Yao right. Yao. Talk about other games. I do talk about other games. I have Indie TV, and a lot of new subscribers don't know that I do Indie TV. But if you guys are interested in a game called Planet Nomads, I actually have 4 videos with 4 interviews I did with the developers. Also, Megaton Rainfall, I had some new news on that. It wasn't good news, but I have not had a perfect opportunity to be able to upload that video. And there's new information out there about Planet Nomads 2 that I have not did an update on. I'll get back to that, yeah. Drew, the elements, what colors mean in possible combinations, fuel technology, and etc. I think a lot of that's going to be known to us as soon as the game comes out, which is next month. I don't think that there's enough information out there for us to actually start talking about any of that as factual. Christopher says, talk about the possible faction ideas that aren't stupid, ways that they could actually work in No Man's Sky. Boom. Christopher is right. Ways that aren't stupid, like creating a faction for multiplayer. I don't think it's stupid, but I think it's not plausible. It's not at the release of No Man's Sky. I don't think it's something that you should be thinking about when you're putting the game in and starting to play. I think the factions, like I said before, are great for, you know, explorer faction, making discoveries under the name of, for example, there's the Galactic Patrol Federation on explorenms, and they, you know, let's say you're discovering things. You discover this animal, and then you post it on your faction's board, and that is an animal that the Galactic Patrol of Federations discovered. They can claim that as one of their members have discovered it. I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of almost like a single player Star Trek. I don't. And then last but not least, Akiran says, how about the complete beep over the No Man's Sky being released 3 days later in the UK behind literally everyone else? I do think that that's a little, so I don't know. I think it's unfair. I don't know why that happened. I really don't. I've scratched my head at that several times as well. I can't give an explanation. The only thing I could say is that I'm sorry. I don't know what to say to that, really. I think it is a little bit bullcrap. I just keep thinking that there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason for that. I'm not sure. I know games typically get released on Tuesdays in the United States. I'm not sure when they get released in the UK, but the 21st of June is on a Tuesday. So the 24th, Fridays are, I don't know, in UK, are the games released only on Fridays in the UK? I'm not sure. And that's the only thing I could possibly think of. Well, that is it for now. Guys, we're doing this No Man's Sky project on explorenms. We're doing two of them, actually. The What Planet Were You Born On, where you record 60 seconds of your first planet that you start on a No Man's Sky, and you upload that 60 seconds to YouTube, and then put a link in the What Planet Were You Born On board on explorenms.com. After we collect everything, we're going to put it all in one big long video. Maybe if too many people provide a link, then it's going to be maybe separated in two videos if we got 8 hours worth of gameplay. Who knows? There's no time limit. I would say give it a good 3 weeks, maybe even longer if people need it, and then we'll make the video. There's no qualifications or anything like that. Just upload 60 seconds, however you see fit, of that first planet. The other project that we have is we're making a mosaic No Man's Sky picture made out of people's profile pictures, your face. Or if you don't want to show your face, you can send in your fan art instead of your profile picture. And we're going to put everybody's picture together to form a No Man's Sky picture. It's going to be pretty cool. But if you want to participate, send your photos, your fan art, or your profile picture, or your selfie, whatever you want, to explorenms.photos@gmail.com. I'm going to link that down below. I need as many people to participate as possible so we can make this picture, and then as a community together, we're going to send that over to Hello Games. And I think it'd be a pretty cool way to say thank you. And I thank everybody on Facebook and Twitter who put down topics. Quite a bit. I didn't even expect that many people to actually respond. But a lot of good things, and maybe I'll take some of these topics here and make an entire episode of just one or two of these topics. If you guys got anything that you would like to make a full episode on, comment down below, and the one with the most likes on it is probably the one I'll pick for the next topic for the next video. I also had an amazing time talking to the last subcast, to the subscribers that were on my subcast, and it was a pretty unorthodox subcast, but it was fun. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just something that I had a guest who was pretty funny, and it was kind of hard to stay on topic on some of the stuff, but the guy's amazing. I'm going to get that on the channel is probably next week sometime, maybe sooner. If you guys would like to listen to it now, it's already uploaded on Twitch, unedited, so you can go over there and check it out. It's pretty fun. As always, I love you guys. Thank you for coming to this weird episode that we did here today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time. Guys, come check out explorenms.photos.com. The vision for Explore NMS is to become a place for us to gather while waiting for and playing the game, to have it become an extension to No Man's Sky. Post pictures, videos, fanfiction, discoveries, galactic urban legends. Tell your stories through videos, let's plays, or through short stories and written series. Building your character into your idea hero, explorer, or villain. Help map out the universe and pass it on to the next generation what we have learned, fought, and discovered. Explore NMS is an explorer's hub, home, base of operations, and more. Please come and join us, and please share the video.